there was, in the last year into the new year, there was times where, matter of fact, the whole month of December, pretty much, I didn't really get out of the bed. I did everything from the bed except for, shower and, or take a bath and eat, fix something to eat. But I pretty much was in the bed that whole month. And it kind of started right around the end of November. And it did go into the new year. But it was a time, and nobody really knew. And I definitely watched that happen with my mother, also. Not taking care of herself, when you're in that place, you have to force yourself to get up and eat. You have to force yourself to get up.
I felt like that was all my fault, and all of what she was saying held truth. You know what I mean? So I had took 61 800 milligram oxycontins from my granddaddy's medicine. She told me to take it with milk, so I did. Luckily, I had did the whole let me call my friends and tell them I love them. You know what I'm thinking? Like to let them know, like, don't be upset. I had called them, and my god sister, she knew I was already like depressed. Like I was already doing the whole cutting thing and stuff like that. So she already knew when I was calling her to tell her goodbye and I love her, you know what I mean? That I had done something stupid.
Yeah.
Luckily, she came down to my grandparents' house. She was right on time. She got my godmom to bring her down, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They called the ambulance, they gave me the charcoal, and by the grace of God, I'm here today to still tell my story. If that chance had actually had worked. But unfortunately there was like 7 different occasions where it could have happened, but I'm still here today. So I have a tattoo that symbolizes it, and I have it underneath a lotus, and it's like a chandelier type of thing, and it has the little semicolons, 7 semicolons to say that my story hasn't ended.
I myself have never actually done anything. However, I have thought about it. I've thought about it many times and have been in that place many times where, I was like, man, I just want to take myself out. But, I have my two boys, and that's what's kind of always saved me from wanting to go any further, uh, with anything because of them and, thinking about that. So, yeah, that's really, really a rough thing, sis.
It's
Really a rough
particularly
thing.
dire in Colorado, where teen suicides have doubled over the last 10 years.
It's a nightmare for any mother.
In Aurora, the parents of Ashanti Davis are heartbroken. They say their daughter took her own life after being bullied. She was just 10 years old.
We just want parents to know that you got to be in your children's life, because this is reality now. We got to bury our baby.
State Representative Daphne Michelson-Janae is one of several Colorado lawmakers exploring legislation to combat the problem.
This is a problem, it is real, it is an issue, and we have a responsibility as a community to stop it.
Hey everyone, Rose here, aka Red for those of you that don't know me. I'd like to first and foremost welcome those of you that are tuning in to Red Soul Sessions podcast. This is a place where we dive into the sensual art of healing and various topics that are wrapped around it. I'd like for you to settle in and join me for some intimate conversations on personal and spiritual growth, emotional wellness, and transformative practices. So, tonight we're going to be diving into the topic of depression. And I do have a special guest that'll be on, and here she is. She just popped in. I've done a segment with her before. I absolutely adore her, and she knows this. She's a goddess. And we're going to go ahead and get started here. Um, like I said, depression, the silent killer. I know that I've had some really rough patches myself with this topic here, and I've had many family members as well. So I know that it's been passed down through my generations, and definitely, a touchy subject, sensitive subject, because a lot of us deal with it in, different types of ways. So before we get started, I want to welcome the goddess to the platform, get her introduced to you guys, and give her a chance to, give you guys a little bit about herself. Queen, hold on, let's see.
Hello, babe.
Hey, love.
Can you hear me well? Cause I'm on the way home, but I'm about to sit down in a second. I'm down the
I can
street.
I can hear you. I can hear you loud and clear.
Perfect. Well, I'm Queen Entice. Part of Get Money Meta. That's how I ended up running into the lovely goddess Miss Rose herself. And ever since then, we've been family. Like she said, this is our second segment together, which I'm grateful for her considering me for the platform again. We do touch on, we do end up talking about touchy subjects, but I really enjoy going through that with you. And it's refreshing to know, like, I'm not by myself in this situation. Um, so yeah, that's what we plan on talking about today. Some, the silent killer. The September is the Suicide Awareness Month. So it's the perfect timing to talk about it, just in case anybody needs any help or any information on it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've had, like I said, many different times where I went into really deep depressions. And matter of fact, one of the worst times that I, went into one was the end of last year into this year, all the way up until, ooh, through the summer. I hid it very well, from everyone. But there was, in the last year into the new year, there was times where, matter of fact, the whole month of December, pretty much, I didn't really get out of the bed. I did everything from the bed except for, shower and, or take a bath and eat, fix something to eat. But I pretty much was in the bed that whole month. And it kind of started right around the end of November. And it did go into the new year, but it was a time, and nobody really knew. Like I was trying to cry out to people here and there, but a part of me, prideful part of me, just kind of didn't want to tell people what I had going on. The ones that I did attempt to tell that I was having issues really wasn't hearing me, because I've always been the strong one. I've always been the run to, like everybody runs to me for everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So many times I have zeroed out. I mean, rock bottom. Lost everything, bounced back, and people know that about me. So they tend to, think, oh, well, she really doesn't need me, or, she'll make it, she'll be able to do it. And that was another part of why I wasn't, telling people, because I've been through it before. So I kind of dealt with it on my own. And, I was in a city by myself. So 3 hours away from my family, or anyone. I didn't have anyone there. So that made it even worse. So definitely a rough time. And it was killing me. Like I literally, two different times I passed out. Went to the emergency room. They couldn't really find anything wrong except for my blood pressure being through the roof. I was having panic attacks, anxiety attacks, all types of stuff going on. So, and still there's a lot of people that don't know, because guess what? While I was going through all of that, I was still getting on social media. I was still marketing, business stuff. I was still encouraging and motivating everybody else. I would literally break down, be in a fetal position on the floor crying, get up and make a motivational post for everybody else. So it's definitely a thing where when people are going through this, a lot of times they're hiding it very well. Have you been through anything, sis?
It's called high functioning depression, where you can actually go through everything, and you can make it seem as though all is well and put together, and like you said, in the fetal position by yourself, crying, popping right back up to motivate somebody else. So yeah, unfortunately, because I can speak on it, I go through it. I never have claimed depression. It's something that I deal with. You know what I mean? High functioning depression is something that I also deal with. It doesn't have me. I manage it. You know what I mean? But either way, off of that, sorry. Um, you'll go through the day, and you'll be doing everything that you have to, and everybody thinks that you're good. You know what I mean? I have my god sisters calling me, asking me, telling me, going through whatever they're going through, and I'm just like, nah, babe girl, just keep on going. This is gonna happen. Like, if we just keep faith, you know what I mean? Like, just going through it. But then for some reason I feel like I don't deserve that kind of uh love and dedication and pouring into for myself, which is crazy, because if they deserve it, I deserve it as well. You know what I mean? But it's unfortunate that people go through it. But you have to find people who you can talk to, because, like you said, you'll reach out to certain people, and just because you went through worse things, you made it. Yes, I have, but I still needed a show. I needed a shoulder then, and I need a shoulder now. You know, but it's crazy that you say, and it's the same. It's the same thing. So I'm glad we're having this conversation.
Absolutely, me too. In a way, it's kind of an opportunity to release and let some of it out. Like I said, I've had it off and on for years. And I don't know what this is called. It's called something as well. But I also have times like that, like in the winter when it's kind of dark, it's cold. Uh,
Seasonal depression.
yeah, like I have that going on as well. You know, even when things could be super chaotic, but if it's sunny and I can go outside in the sun for a little bit, um, that helps me. It helps me ground.
That's kind of how the
But
nature ones are. If you
yeah.
get what I mean, like the ones who go out and who ground and stuff like that. The weather changes tends to help to affect their moods a little bit more than others would. You know what I mean?
hmm Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, that's definitely a thing for me. Growing up, I watched my mother go through it as well. Looking back, when I was younger, I really didn't get that that's what was happening with her. But later once, I started aging a little bit, then I started to understand more what was going on with her. And, when you're in these places like this, it also causes illness as well. And causes illness inside of you. And I definitely watched that happen with my mother, also. Um, not taking care of herself, when you're in that place, you have to force yourself to get up and eat. You have to force yourself to get up and take a shower or a bath or whatever. One thing that helped me is that I do a lot of spiritual baths and different things like that, different ritual type things. So I would do that anyway. I understood that I needed to ground myself and protect myself, being that I was in different low vibrational times. That's when you're wide open for all different types of things to happen. So I definitely, kept doing that. But yeah, looking back, I saw that. And then once my mother passed away, I remember my aunt saying that my grandmother, um, had severe depression and whatnot. And that was something that I never saw. Like, I would have never really guessed that, because whenever I was around her, like, that wasn't the case. So again, she was hiding it. um another topic for later, but she her and my grandfather literally lived together, oh my goodness, probably over 40 years, like separate rooms, hating each other, like it was crazy. That's a whole nother segment. But I think that is really important that we allow ourselves to be in a place of happiness, and find that happiness no matter what is going on around us. I think that's really important.
I definitely agree, but I will say, to explore the emotions so that you may not have to reface it again, if that makes sense. Like, because I feel like it's always a different chapter. It's not always the same thing. You get what I mean? Like, it's another piece to it. Even if it is the same topic, it's another piece to it that you're like trying to understand. Like, don't dwell in it, experience it, but then, like you're saying, enjoy some happiness because you made it through whatever it is, the thought process that may have took you there, you know what I mean? You made it through, so yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Have you ever, speaking of, uh, suicidal month or whatever, have you ever had to deal with that with anyone, or,
um
um,
I have two birthdays. November the 20, like 2 days before Thanksgiving is pretty much what I go by. 2 days before Thanksgiving, and then my actual birthday. I had like from the previous conversation that we had, the relationship with my mother, she ended up telling me to go ahead and like off myself type of thing, and
mm,
how to do it. And because of how everything was, my dad was at war in Iraq. I thought my grandparents was like, for some reason, I always thought they was going to pass earlier than where they were going to pass. You know what I'm saying? And if she didn't care for me, then who was going to care for me? My brother had went to jail the same day we were supposed to go to homecoming and lost custody of the kids. Somehow I think because like it's all a blur right now. It's always going to be a blur. Like seventh or sixth grade, somehow I felt like that was all my fault, and all of what she was saying held truth. You know what I mean? So I had took 61 800 milligram oxycontins from my granddaddy's medicine. She told me to take it with milk, so I did. um Luckily I had did the whole let me call my friends and tell them I love them, you know what I'm saying, like to let them know, like, don't be upset. I had called them, and my god sister, she knew I was already like depressed, like I was already doing the whole cutting thing and stuff like that, so she already knew when I was calling her to tell her goodbye and I love her, you know what I mean, that I had done something stupid.
yeah,
Luckily, she came down to my grandparents' house. She was right on time. She got my godmom to bring her down. You know what I mean?
yeah.
They called the ambulance. They gave me the charcoal, and by the grace of God, I'm here today to still tell my story. Um, there's so many things I could have missed out on. One of my god sisters signing, writing her first book, in her book signing, giving birth to my daughter, watching her grow, the many numerous things that I plan on doing with the rest of my life. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
so many different things that I could have missed, um, if that chance had actually had worked. But unfortunately, there was like seven different occasions where it could have happened, but I'm still here today. So I have a tattoo that symbolizes it, and I have it underneath a lotus, and it's like a chandelier type of thing, and it has the little semicolons, seven semicolons to say that my story hasn't ended.
Not at all. Not at all. You have so much work to do, sis, so much to be here for, and I'm so glad that you are still here. Me and you wouldn't be here doing this, and I wouldn't be blessed, with your connection, and I'm grateful for that, but just wow. And, you sharing that transparency, and being able to, that takes courage right there just by itself, being able to share it, but also being able to be a voice, because we know that there's so many people out there that go through this. I myself have never actually done anything. However, I have thought about it. I've thought about it many times, and been in that place many times where, I was like, man, I just want to take myself out. But, I have my two boys, and that's what's kind of always saved me from wanting to go any further, uh, with anything because of them, and, thinking about that. So, yeah, that's really, really a rough thing, sis. Really a rough thing. And definitely rough, We had that last episode so talking about mothers, but then, your mother actually telling you how to do it. And that's rough. That,
Um, yeah, we're trying to. I'm trying to stay on topic, but I feel like it goes kind of hand in hand to understand like why possibly you get what I'm saying.
yeah,
The episodes come up and whatnot, but she was trying to kill me all my life type of thing. You
wow.
know, she's in the medical field. She's well aware that children, because it was different, it was numerous years, should not drink 8 glasses of water at one time because you could drown from the inside. She would continuously try to make me drink 8 glasses of water before I went to sleep. She's poured bucket of ants on my head and try to hold me up underneath water, you know what I mean. She used to put me in the closet for punishment, and I didn't realize that that wasn't punishment until like I was in my father's care. You know what I mean? I didn't realize it took a long time. So
Yeah,
between all of that, the balance is off upstairs. You know what I mean? So sometimes Mother's Day might come around, I might be completely in a whole sour mood just because I don't get it. You know what I mean? Because
right.
it's resurfaced and I just don't understand. I've let go the anger and the hate per se, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm still perplexed by the situation. Her birthday comes around. I know I shouldn't care, but that's my mother. You know what I mean?
right,
You can't never change those type of relationships.
right.
But I dwell in the moment. Not even dwell. I sit in the moment. I cry it out. I have me a spoon that I keep in the freezer, and I put it on my eyes for about
Yeah,
30 minutes, and I continue on with the rest of my day because I can't dwell in it. I can't let it take over again.
yeah.
Got to keep pushing.
That's right. That's right. Well, look, if we get off the subject, it's kind of still the subject in a way,
Right.
because it's a big part of where, our depression has derived from. And again, I know it's touchy. I just put up a post the other day in regards to it, and I was saying that, some girls first very first hater is their mother. And there was a lot of women that commented on it that couldn't resonate with it at all, and they were like, no way, and this, that, and the other. And, I told a handful of them that I was really happy that they never had to
I'm
go through that.
extremely happy
Yeah.
that you do not understand, that you don't have the comprehension for what we're saying.
Mhm.
I'm so, and I hate to put it like that, but that's the only thing I'll ever be envious of somebody of.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only thing. You can have all the money, all the cars, all the clothes, the shoes, all diamonds, jewelry, your business. The congratulations. But having that bond with your mother, that's the only thing anybody could ever be like, oh, that she might be hating on you on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
The only thing, because that's a bond that is supposedly not supposed to ever be broken.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And like I said, in the last episode that I didn't even realize that that was the type of issues that I had. I always thought years upon years that it was father issues I had.
Mhm.
And,
You
you
say that.
know, yeah, like, we sweep that under the rug with women and mothers. But the thing about it is somewhere we have to do what we're doing and speak up about it so that others are able to be able to be heard, speak on it, and heal from it. And
Hmm.
one of the girls on the post, I actually asked her to have compassion for those of us that didn't have a mother like she did. I also know people that you know um had parents that were, something else, but they hid it. And, like still to this day hide it,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
it's their parents. And, we're taught to respect our parents. And then it's kind of an embarrassing thing, you know, um, when, it's like the depression where you're kind of hiding everything. It's the same thing with family issues and stuff. Those things are hidden. Um, they're hidden, and there's so many different family secrets and all kinds of stuff. And somewhere somebody has to step up and you know be the chain breaker. Somebody has to.
Yes.
So I know on my end, for my family, both sides, I'm determined to be that person. I was already the black sheep, kind of um ostrac- ostracized all the time from everyone. So it's kind of like I don't care. Even if I wasn't, I wouldn't care. This is
Hmm.
just what it is, and somebody has to break it. And on another note, so far as I'm super super grateful to be the one that was chosen in my bloodline to do what I'm doing. I take my mission work very seriously, like very seriously. And to be honest, that was a part of going into that depression, because I was going from doing credit and all of that to figuring out this whole spiritual thing. Um, and I was being pushed, and this may be going off the subject as well, but it is what it is. I was being pushed out of what I was in because I wasn't supposed to be there with the people that I
Hmm.
was wrapped around. So all these different things was happening because sis, I wouldn't listen. I knew clearly what I was being told to do, and I wouldn't listen. And it was thing after thing after thing, and it was like, okay, you're not going to listen, we're going to drag you all the way down, you're not going to have a choice. And that's what I allowed to happen. So you know um it was just so many different things. But yeah, definitely, you know has to be talked about. We have to be able to have eyes and heart. I'll say heart as well, because that's where the compassion comes from, with people. I know for myself, I tend to sometimes, how can I say, I'm a little bit hard sometimes. Like, my heart is big. I love very, very hard. But sometimes I have a tendency to see things through my eyes for other people. And I have to check myself on that all the time.
Hmm.
Like, um, everybody's not going to handle things how I do.
Hmm.
And everybody doesn't grieve like I do. And everybody doesn't, because something can happen to me. And, like I said, that last stretch was the longest stretch I've ever been like in it. But, something can happen like really crazy. And I push myself through it. I do whatever shadow work I need to do. And then I pull myself back out Everyone's not able to do that. And maybe that's why I went through that stretch, to be able to see, that it's not always go through, pull yourself right back out. Because I was having a hard time with it. A hard time. Yeah, a real hard time. So, I don't know. I definitely want to have more conversations, for different, um,
Specs because they all
yeah,
go together. But
yeah,
yeah, they just all go together. Because I can definitely agree. Once I started going down my spiritual path, it was just like realization of things that I was doing,
mm-hmm,
um, that were gonna keep hindering me. Like
mm,
I've always tried to have female relationships. I feel like, so not female like relationships, but like
yeah,
friendships and whatnot.
mm-hmm,
Or I get a bond with their mom and stuff like that because I'm trying to fill a void. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
To the point where I'd be pretty much getting used, and I understand being resourceful, but then there's
mm-hmm,
also being used.
mm-hmm.
So I was getting used by certain situations, in certain situations, solely because I wanted a bond, where it all kept flipping out on me to show the same type of personalities that my mother actually carried, which is crazy because none of these people at the beginning, seemed that type of way. But like I said, the whole spiritual journey ended up being like a solo dolo mission, a solo dolo ride, you know what I mean? Slowly
Mm-hmm.
but surely, people who I used to hang out with, like my god sisters and them, some of them are starting to like, come on towards the spiritual side and whatnot, and we rekindled.
Yeah,
Not the ones who were shiesty completely, because can't make the same mistake twice.
yeah,
Um, but
mm-hmm.
it just all goes together. You just have to keep learning these different lessons and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think, what for me was, it was, like I said, being connected to the wrong people. I like came out of an illusion. Let's say that. I definitely was in like this illusion, and I started seeing everything at once. I started seeing like just all types of realizations of different stuff that had happened, and I was like, whoa, like it was so much betrayal that hit me at one time. Realizing that about these different people that I was calling sis and bro, like I was staying, with them when I would
Yes.
go out of town, like they literally, girl, look. They did so many different things, and it was like hitting me all at once. At the same time, I was gonna go and get a photo shoot done. So I go to the same person that had been coloring my hair like all through me having locks. Girl, he puts the bleach on my hair and puts me under the dryer and fries my locks. Then he put the wrong color on at the same time. So that was another betrayal. But then, as time went, I had to look at it in a whole different way. I had to look at, like the whole thing with my hair. Again, that happened because I wasn't listening. I wasn't even supposed to be going to get a photo shoot for that. I knew what I was supposed to be doing and wasn't doing it. So, I try to do that with everything, no matter how harsh it is. I put my boundaries up, but I always see the bigger lesson in it, outside of the person, because I understand that that's what this whole experience, this human experience, is about. It's about, healing and growing, and everybody. It's um kind of like an orchestrated movie where everybody has their part, everybody plays their part, and some people have messed up parts in our story, you know. So when I look at it that way, it becomes not as personal to me, if that makes sense. Like I
Most
may,
definitely.
yeah, I may know that my road has ended with that particular person, but it allows me to free myself from whatever anger, even hatred. I'm going to use the word. I don't like to use it, but I'm going to be honest. When you start coming out of those illusions and looking at everything that happened, sometimes you feel that. But then also guilt, shame. There's so many different things that come along with it. So when I look at it in that different way, and I kind of take the personal part out and say, okay, I'm going to take this person out of the equation, but how could I have done this? Or why did I do this? How can I make sure I never do this again? How do I put boundaries in place? How do I discern better? How do I move differently in different situations? And that helps me. That helps me tremendously with freeing myself. I think there's so many people that get caught up in, the different things that they go through like that, and they're unable to let it go. And that stuff just festers in them. And it's really hard sometimes to let those things go because we've had some horrific things done to us. You just described some horrific stuff, and so yeah, it's like really tough. It's really
Yes.
tough.
Cause
It's
it's almost like I hate to compare things,
mhm.
you know what I mean? But it is a PTSD. It's
Yeah,
it's a complete uh it's a complete trauma that we sometimes end up reliving. It might have a little flashback type of thing. You know what
mhm,
I mean?
yeah,
Um, it's impactful, and it shouldn't be demise from what it really is.
right. Absolutely, absolutely. So that's I'm just where I'm at, sis, is not diluting anything. Like this is what it
Mhm.
is. It's no sugarcoating, because here's the thing. Like we don't know how many days we signed up for in this human experience, and it's like, because I know that and I take my mission so seriously, I kind of don't have time to waste. I feel like, okay, I accept things how they are. I move accordingly. I move on how I need to. And I'm constantly working on myself. Constantly. I had to do some shadow work today. I had to ground myself before this session because of
Mhm,
some different
mhm.
little stuff. It's a constant thing. So, we can, it's not love and light all the time.
Nope. What Erica Badu say? It can be a pack of Newports and a Colt 44 real quick.
Real fast. Yeah, real fast. So, yeah, I don't know. I want to ask you also, what do you think, you know, how can I say, what could we do, to help others in, those places? I mean, I know speaking up, and, doing these type of shows and topics and different things like that. But I guess I mean being able to be a safe place for people, if you get what I'm saying, like,
I do. I currently have vent sessions
mhm,
posted on my website type of thing. So like in
mhm,
case anybody just needed to vent.
yes,
It's not like a whole reading and all of that type of thing. I'll just sit there and listen. I'll
yes,
be I hear you. You're being heard type of voice, you know what I mean?
yeah,
So I do believe that although a lot of people don't want to talk to people, talking to
mm,
somebody who you don't know, such as a shrink or whatnot,
mm,
it's just getting it off your chest, letting
yeah,
somebody hear you so that you can be heard type of thing. Um, so maybe, having that space and letting them know that there is spots and places where you can speak to people and whatnot. Um, um, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I actually did offer those last year. Was it? No. It was this year, closer to like maybe springtime or whatever. But for me, I had to stop that only because of the place that I was in. I had so much drain in my energy,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, that I couldn't really handle different sessions or things like that, because when I say people people call me outside of that, all the time
All
for
the
different
time.
things. Oh yes, so I had to, even with that, I had to put some boundaries up with that, because that energy exchange, people will grab that energy and pull it and grab it.
Keep going, keep on taking.
Absolutely. And some, known and unknown.
Mm-hmm.
Some don't even really know that that's what they're doing. But I know when it's happening. you
Definitely.
know. So yeah, so that is an awesome thing that you offer. That definitely, is really, really good, to put something out there so people have that safe place. Because I know, like, for myself, I didn't really I didn't really want to tell nobody what I was going through. And then some of the people, a couple of the people that I was talking to had really bad intentions.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, I couldn't really see through it at the time, because I was in such a place and I just needed somebody. And I didn't even realize like what was happening. Um, at that time. But yeah, so okay, yeah, that's a awesome thing. Well,
Maybe
I
we
mean,
can have I'm sorry.
mm,
Maybe we can have us like a writing session where everybody can just write what they need to. Maybe we can have some frequencies going for releasing, and we can have like a little burn session together.
yes.
Therefore, nobody's actually getting the energy or
Hmm.
receiving the energy. Is more so a release with self. No discussion really, just maybe set the mood type of thing. But that's also something that maybe we could get together and handle for each other, or people.
Absolutely. I think that would be great. I would love to put something together like that with you for sure. Um but yeah, well, this has definitely been, a good conversation again. Um it again, it needs to be talked about, So I appreciate you jumping on here with me. I'd love for you to go ahead and plug yourself, plug all your different networks and websites and all that good stuff, so that people can find you or find your services if they need you.
All right. I appreciate you for having me on tonight and speaking on a real topic. Like we said earlier, September is Suicide Awareness Month. If you have any issues, please reach out to someone. You are loved, you are cared for, you are wanted. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at Queen Entice. Enticing Elements is .co is the website. And I appreciate you for having me on once again.
Absolutely. Much love, sis. All right. Well, guys, you can also find me on Facebook at Rose Guest, TikTok and IG. I am Rose Guest. And YouTube, same here as Clubhouse, Red Soul Sessions. I would love for you to, find me there, hit the subscribe and like button, check out couple episodes or 3 episodes. That's what's up. And then definitely, on top of this one. And I'd love to thank you for sharing this space with me and the Queen on Red Soul Sessions. I hope today's episode touched your heart and ignited a deeper passion within your soul. As we part ways for now, remember to carry the light of your spirit and let it guide you. Until we meet again, take gentle care of yourself and keep nurturing your inner fire. I can't wait to continue this journey with you on the next episode. Be well and stay inspired. Peace, love, and light.